Our next speaker is Kiera Westphal, and she is going to tell us a story about the difference between preparation and reality and what happens in the middle.
Hi. So I'm going to tell you a story about September of 2016. I found myself in the San Francisco Bay, 55-degree water, without a wetsuit, next to Alcatraz, with sharks, a mile and a half away from San Francisco, the aquatic park. I signed up a year before to do the Alcatraz swim. And I figured the English Channel is 21 miles long. And it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So how hard could it be, right? I've always been pretty adventurous. I've ridden my bike across the country before, and so I start training, and I find my local pool, and there's a master's team that I start swimming with, and we start training. I start training with them, and we swim about 2 miles per hour for 1 hour, a few days a week. And I do that for a year. About 3 or 4 months before the swim, I start to swim in Aquatic Park, and I get a wetsuit, and I realize this probably isn't that cold. So what would it be like to swim without a wetsuit? And I start, I take my wetsuit off, and I start swimming without it, and I figure it's not so bad. It feels like little pinpricks on your skin all over all at once. And it's kind of exhilarating, actually. So I prepare, and I come down to race day, and I eat a big pasta meal the night before, and I feel like I'm prepared. I got this, right? I can do this. So, I get a good night's rest. I wake up at 4 in the morning, 4:30, and put my onesie, my Polar Tech onesie on over my bathing suit to keep me warm. I get over to the race starting point, and I realize it's dark. It's dark, it's foggy. Lots of fog, actually. And there are about 500 of us that get onto boats, and we go out to the island, and I'm keeping in mind 2 main points. First of all, there are these 2 landmarks to really look at. So there's Ghirardelli Square, and there's a big logo that you're supposed to see from out there, and also there are these masts from these big boats that they have out in Aquatic Park. So I'm looking at both of these things, or keeping that in mind, and also I'm told that we need to swim like mad once we get off the boat, because you actually have more of a chance getting hurt by some other swimmer that's going to either jump on you or hit you, because there's 500 people all at once, pretty much. So you want to get out of their way. You have more of a chance of getting hit by someone than eaten by a shark. So keeping all this in mind, 2 by 2, we jump off this boat. And I start swimming like mad, and I get out there, and I look up after about 20 strokes, and I can't see the mass. I can't see Ghirardelli Square. I can't even see the other swimmers that came in with me. They're all sort of scattered already, and so I'm alone in the middle of the bay, in very low light, and I look back behind me, and I see the island, as if I just jumped off the boat. So I start to wonder, am I moving? And so it's quite an exhilarating experience at that point. And I start to just think, well, what can I do, right? Besides keep going, I need to keep swimming. So I do. I keep swimming, and I eventually start to see a little bit of something up there, and I think I'm going in the right direction. And the thing to keep in mind with all of this is the tides are so strong in the San Francisco Bay that if you do get caught by one of them, you can get swept out beyond the Golden Gate, out to sea, forever, right? So a little scary. But I keep moving on, and eventually, finally, I get to the point of there's the aquatic park has this opening, and I get through that point, and I feel the water. I feel it getting a little bit warmer. Because it's getting shallower, and I have about a half a mile left. So I keep swimming. I finally walk up on the land. My coach comes to see me. He recognizes how I swim, and he hands me a cup of coffee. I start shaking it all over the place. It all gets all over the floor because I'm so cold. And I realized from that, one thing is when you're swimming in a pool, you have these lanes on the ground that mark your distance, and you can sense your progress. You know how many laps you've done. The pool I was swimming in was 70 degrees. And when you're in the middle of the bay, what you don't realize is that it's dark. You don't see anything. You can't sense your progress. There's no way of knowing if you're getting close or not. So I made it. I realized that I can push through regardless of marks of progress. And I thought I was strong before I swam that race, but after the race, I knew I was strong. So that's my story.